Hey guys, coming another movie for you guys, and this movie reviewing, I'm percent sure that none of you have heard about this movie. You're gonna be hearing this movie, you're like, what the fuck is this? You have never heard of this, I didn't even know this came out, and I wouldn't have known either. All I really knew about this movie is that there, as I said, every single week Netflix has released a movie. I think it's a bit tedious that they've done that. I think some of them have, ranged from really good to really mediocre. But none of them have been great. The only one that's really been great so far has been Imperial Dreams. Now, I've only seen three of them, granted, but I just heard, not many people have talked about them, and I feel like Netflix is doing a bit too much with that. But this one very much intrigued me. I knew it had Bob Odenkirk, and I knew it was coming out on Valentine's Day, and that definitely did intrigue me what this really was. And that movie is none other than Girlfriend's Day. Like I said, I had no idea what this movie was going into it. I saw it had Bob Odenkirk, I saw it was a Netflix film, and I saw that it was only about like 70 minutes long, which is extremely rare for a movie nowadays. I can't remember the last time a movie was that short. That's pretty crazy, but I checked it out, and I'm honestly really glad I did check it out because while I don't think Girlfriend's Day is a perfect movie, I don't even think it's a great movie. It's a very well done movie either way. It's a very different type, it's a very different, unconventional film noir, but it's also this very well done romance film, and I really do love the way the movie was done. But let's get to the plot of Girlfriend's Day, because the plot of this movie sounds very simple, but there's a lot more to it than that. Basically, Bob Odenkirk plays this character of Ray. Now, Ray is someone who used to be this huge name in the greeting card business, and in this movie, greeting cards are a huge thing. If someone who writes a greeting card, they're looked at as like a celebrity, or how a screenwriter would be looked at, or how a book writer would be looked at. Well, now he's kind of lost his knack. He's not as good as he used to be. He's really struggling. He's writing very generic type of cards, and basically, he is tasked to write a new card, but not in the way that he's been writing them. He's tasked to write a new card for this new holiday called Girlfriend's Day, and he soon learns that there's a lot more going on. He eventually gets himself all entangled into a bunch of lies and murder and such, and that's the basic plot of Girlfriend's Day overall. But let's get in this movie, starting off with the cast. Now, one thing I definitely do want to give Netflix, even though they have been releasing such a huge influx of original films, they have been finding some really, really great actors to be in these films, and I've been very impressed with them overall. And Bob Odenkirk, once again, gives another really great performance in this movie as this character of Ray, who is a very different character than that of Jimmy. Now, I was worried going into this movie that he was going to be basically, just Saul 2.0, but that's not at all who he is. I really did like this character of Ray. Ray is someone who he is definitely a bit hopeful. I wouldn't say he's completely lost his touch, but he's very lost in what he really wants to do. He knows that he used to be good, but he doesn't really know what made him so good. What was the thing that gave him that motivation? How can he be that good again? And honestly, I think you could substitute that for really anything that anyone has gone through. I've gone through many times on even this where I felt I've lost my inspiration. I felt my videos haven't been as good as they were. How were they good then? What made them so good then? That's something that he's really struggling with throughout this movie, but he's also trying to, make connections and try to get close to this girl, and I really did love all the struggles this character was going through. He was very relatable in that sense. Thought Bob Odenkirk did a very good job with getting us to care for this character, because I definitely did care about him, and I really did love the direction they went with him overall, and he definitely is the glue that holds the film together. I think if Bob Odenkirk was not in this movie would not nearly be as good as it really is. Because as far as the rest of the cast goes, they're fine. I think everyone else did do a good job, but no one has the focus that Bob Odenkirk really does, especially Amber Tamblyn as Jill, who is Ray's main love interest in the movie. I found her to be good in the film. I thought she overall did a good job, but I found her to be quite flat and, quite frankly, quite stagnant as a character. I just didn't really find much going on with her. I didn't really find her to be that interesting of a character. I understood why these two connected, but it just kind of seemed like she was just the love interest in the movie. There really wasn't much else to her beyond that, and I really did want a little bit more to her character. I wanted to see more of really what she was going through. I thought that she just wasn't as interesting of a character as she could have been. Rich Summer actually really did like his buddy. He's the one that essentially approaches him to write this letter for Girlfriend's Day and, challenge himself. I thought he definitely did do a very good job here, and his determination to get this letter done. He has this whole other side thing going on with his girlfriend. I thought that was definitely very interesting the way the movie got into that. But someone I definitely need to applaud is Stacy Keach as Gundy, who is essentially the main villain in the film. He was fantastic. I absolutely love this character. This is that one character that absolutely hates a holiday because he doesn't have a girlfriend and he feels very much alone. And there's this one scene in the film where he gives this whole monologue basically just demoralizing every single holiday there is and talking about how every single holiday is pointless. And yes, it's a bunch of nonsense, but it was an incredible scene. He honestly did have a lot of very good points there, and I thought he did an incredible job in this movie. He was both very funny and necessarily over the top, but also very nuanced. You kind of see where he was coming from at some points. Obviously, you don't want him to win because he kind of is, the main villain in this film, but he very much does challenge Ray, but I really did like his character overall. I thought he definitely did do a good job, but the other characters in this film just weren't nearly as developed as Ray. I think they could have done a bit more with them, and overall I thought as good as everyone was, they did come across a bit flat to me. So now let's get to the directing here by Michael Stephenson, which the directing here is very unique in the sense where this movie starts off and it seems like, your typical type of quirky indie comedy. That's what it seems like. I mean, indie comedy about this eccentric man who, had this, really great inspiration for, writing and, writing these greeting cards, and now he doesn't have that. That's what it seems like the movie's going to be. But halfway throughout this movie, it turns into this murder mystery, and I don't exactly know if the two tones blended together. I'm going to be honest. I don't really know if that worked out. But I was overall okay with it. I just don't know if it really needed the whole murder mystery side of it. I get what they were trying to do. I understand that, but I just don't really know if the movie really needed it. I think the movie would have been just as fine if it was just him struggling with making the screening card. I think would have been just as good. I get that we obviously need a conflict, but I just felt that was enough of a conflict. But I thought the directing... My only thing in the directing is that I didn't really find the movie funny. The movie is listed as a dark comedy, and I don't know, I really didn't find that much funny here. I found a lot of the jokes, if there were any jokes, they very much went over my head. It was very, very deadpan in that regard, and Bob Odenkirk is usually very good at humor, but I don't know, just something about it. He does not really have the amount of humor and just the amount of charm that he does in Better Call Saul. I just didn't really find this movie to be that funny. I wasn't really laughing a lot, but I was interested in the story, and that is something I will give the film, is I thought the screenplay was overall very well done. I very much did love the story to this movie, because like I said, the whole idea of someone losing their creativity and losing their passion and realizing this is literally all they have left. If he doesn't create this greeting card, he could essentially be irrelevant to this society, and this is something that I thought was very well explored here. And again, I think it's a very relatable type of subject. I don't think that the movie's just saying, about greeting cards. It's supposed to be about someone who's losing their knack for creativity and losing their passion, which everyone goes through at some point, and it was very well handled here. I really did like the way the movie did focus on that. And you can definitely see why he's lost it. I mean, there's a lot that this character has been through between him and his wife have, his wife end up leaving him, so he's a very bad connection with her. There's a lot of stuff on his past. We found this very heartbreaking story about his mom, and it almost brought me to tears. I mean, it was very, very sad. The emotion in this movie is very well done. There's a lot of really great emotional scenes, and I really did love the way that was done. I thought they overall definitely did a very good job with the emotional side here. But I'm not gonna lie, this movie really does drag, and a lot of people complain about that. The movie's only 70 minutes long, and there's really no excuse why this movie should drag, but it does. It really does go on and on. There are a lot of dull scenes throughout this film where there's not really a ton happening, and it's honestly inexcusable that the movie was very slow in that regard. Now, I wouldn't say it was boring, but I would definitely say it did drag a couple times for me. There definitely were a couple scenes that did take me out of the film a bit. I was into it for the most part, but there definitely were a couple scenes that did definitely take me out of the film, and that definitely did disappoint me a bit because I liked the writing overall. I thought the story in general was very interesting. My other thing is the whole holiday of Girlfriend's Day. We really didn't get that much into it. We just know that Girlfriend's Day is a national holiday, and it's a holiday that he needs to write a greeting card for. But I don't know, I kind of wanted to get more into the holiday. Like, what does Girlfriend's Day entail? Who made Girlfriend's Day? Who is it really for? What is it really celebrating? We really didn't get into that aspect of the film, and I really wish they would have done that, especially at a 70-minute runtime. You would have thought they would have thought of these things. They would have, easily put these things in, because the movie was short enough where they could have probably fit it in. Some of those scenes that dragged on a bit, they could have probably put in a little bit more explanation on Girlfriend's Day, but the movie really did not do that very well. I think they could have done more with that, and I just didn't really feel like Girlfriend's Day. Yes, it was, it was kind of like the MacGuffin of the film where he needed to get it done, but that's what it felt like. It didn't really feel like it was that relevant to the movie, but the movie's called Girlfriend's Day, so that was very mind-boggling to me as to why they didn't, really talk about Girlfriend's Day a lot. It seemed like it was the main thing in the movie, and it really was not there. The cinematography in this movie is really good. I really did like the cinematography here. Very old, like, noir feel, and I definitely did like the noir part of this film. I thought that was very well done. And the score. I really gotta commend the score here. I really did love the score of this movie. It kind of reminded me a bit of, like, something the Coen brothers would do, and I know it's not a Coen brothers movie, but this movie is very, very Coen brothers-esque, and I know Bob Odenkirk's worked with them. I don't know if he's worked with them before, but Breaking Bad, things like that. A lot of people say the humor. Well, I wouldn't say the humor is very much like the Coen brothers, but something I've always said about the Coen brothers is that they know how to handle, dark humor in very dark situations. How to make light of something that's dark, and this movie does that very well. The score is just very powerful in this movie. I really did love the score here. If I could find the soundtrack, I definitely would get it, because I really did love the score of this film. It very much did. Elevate the film for me. I definitely really did love it. And like I said, the editing, the movie's only 70 minutes long, and I honestly felt it could have been a bit longer. I think the movie dragged because they didn't really know where to go with it besides going to the story with Ray, which is a good story, but it's more of a 60-minute story or a TV special. It didn't really feel like a story for a movie. It just felt like they didn't really do as much with it as they could, and again, it is quite disappointing when your movie is literally 70 minutes long. That's kind of, ridiculous that it really did not work out that well. But overall, guys, Girlfriend's Day, I really did enjoy overall. I think it's a very well done film about, the loss of creativity and trying to gain your mojo back and just trying to figure out, where you went right. I thought that was definitely very well done. It has a really great performance by Bob Odenkirk. I thought he did a very good job with this film. Definitely, he was the one who helmed all of it, and I like his ideas here. I just felt that a lot of it didn't really work as well as it could have, but I definitely did enjoy Girlfriend's Day overall, and I am going to give it a 3.5 out of 5 or a B. So overall, guys, I'm the Girlfriend's Day. I know probably none of you have seen this movie, but if you have, I honestly would recommend it. I think it is a very different film. It's definitely not going to be what you're expecting it to be, but I'd say check it out just for that reason. If you're curious, definitely check it out. But that's my review. Hope you guys enjoy it. We'll see you guys in my next video, which will be for tonight's episode of Riverdale, and we'll see you guys for that. Okay, bye.